Okay, let's unpack this. Because last night, something really unexpected happened.
Right.
In a place most of us know instantly. The Brooklyn Bridge, New York City.
Mm-hmm.
Just picture it. A big sailing ship hitting one of the piers. That's what happened around, 8:26 p.m. local time, Saturday, May 17th?
Yeah, and the ship involved a Cuauhtémoc. That's what makes it immediately striking. It's not just any ship.
No.
It's a masted training vessel for the Mexican Navy. Basically, a huge sailboat they use to teach sailors, literally teach them the ropes.
Ah, okay.
And our first reports, we're looking at CNN, they detail how this ship, during what the Navy called a departure maneuver.
Departure maneuver.
Yeah, it somehow hit the bottom of the bridge, which, well, it just raises a ton of questions right off the bat about navigating there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And calling it an incident during a departure maneuver, that feels like maybe downplaying it a bit.
Well, perhaps, especially given the consequences we're hearing about.
Right. We know the ship itself got damaged enough that they had to stop its training cruise.
Which is significant. A training cruise isn't just, a pleasure sail. It's core to their mission.
Training future officers, right?
Exactly. Seamanship, teamwork, procedures. An event like this, especially with damage and, sadly, injuries, that's going to have a real impact on that training.
And, yeah, the injuries. We have to talk about those. There's video footage. WABC showed it. People mentioned it too. Shows the ship stopped right at the bridge base.
Yeah, with a tugboat responding.
And there's this detail, I think, from the New York Post via People, that one of the ship's really tall masts actually hit the bridge structure itself just before 9 p.m.
That's a critical point. The masts, the height of the vessel versus the bridge clearance.
Those are usually really well-known numbers, aren't they, for navigation?
They are. They're on all the charts. So for a masted ship this size to hit, it suggests, well, it could be a miscalculation, maybe some unusual conditions, or maybe even a mechanical problem with the ship itself during departure.
It gets even more dramatic, apparently. Some online video, people cited this, reportedly showed parts of the top of the ship actually breaking apart.
Wow.
And then there's this image described, numerous people hanging from the ship's mast after the collision.
Goodness. That really tells you something about the force of impact, doesn't it?
It really does. People scrambling for safety. We also know, this is from AM New York, that it was heading northbound up the East River.
Which fits. Fits with departing from the South Street Seaport area.
Right, where it was docked. Pier 17, South Street Seaport Museum. But okay, let's get back to the human cost first. The injuries, the response. CNN initially said around 20 people hurt.
Yes, and their source mentioned 3 might be in critical condition.
Okay. And then Bloomberg, through People, reported something maybe even more concerning.
Yeah, they quoted 20 people are in serious or critical condition and people are still being removed from the water.
Removed from the water.
That part really stands out. It suggests, a pretty violent event, maybe people thrown overboard or the ship listing.
Which would trigger a major search and rescue, right?
Absolutely. People confirmed a search and rescue operation was launched. Standard procedure, but always complex.
And you'd have multiple agencies involved.
For sure. The reports mention NYPD, obviously, and the Mexican Navy coordinating, providing support. That cross-agency, even international cooperation is key here.
And the bridge itself, it was closed for a bit.
Yeah, CNN reported all lanes shut down temporarily, both directions. Big disruption for the city.
But it reopened fairly quickly.
It seems so, which suggests the initial look didn't show immediate catastrophic structural damage, but they'll need thorough checks, obviously.
Of course. And the police were telling people to stay away from the area.
Yeah.
Brooklyn Bridge, Seaport, Dumbo.
Makes sense. Emergency vehicles, traffic jams, you know the drill in these situations.
And this detail from Mark Levine, the Manhattan Borough president.
Yeah.
NYPD divers transporting injured people.
Divers, yes. That again points to people potentially being in the water. A very serious situation requiring specialized rescue.
Okay. And they set up assistance areas too. Pier 16, other spots.
Right, for people from the ship, getting them support, information, coordinated effort.
So let's talk more about the ship itself. The Cuauhtémoc. Training ship, Mexican Navy. Over 200 people on board, according to People.
That's a lot of people.
It is. A big crew for a training vessel like this.
Captain Juan Caballero, a Navy spokesman, confirmed to CNN it was on its annual training cruise, which, as we said, is crucial naval education.
And they were still trying to confirm the exact number on board right after it happened.
Yeah, which isn't surprising in the immediate aftermath. Chaos, confusion, getting an exact head count takes time.
And this ship, it wasn't just passing through, was it? It had been here.
Right. It arrived earlier in the week, Docked at Pier 17, South Street Seaport Museum. It was actually open for public tours.
Wow, really? So people might have just been on it.
Quite possibly. Makes the incident feel even closer to home for some New Yorkers or tourists. It adds a layer, doesn't it?
It does. And people noted some background. Built in Spain in '81, the name means descending eagle. Gives it a bit more context.
Yeah, it's a ship with some history.
Okay, so the big question then is, why? What happened?
Well, the Mexican Navy says it's under review, both by them and local authorities here. That's the standard process.
Right. An investigation.
A really thorough one will be needed. You have to look at everything: human error, mechanical failure, maybe weather or currents. Was it a combination? How does a ship like this hit a structure like that?
And NYPD, FDNY, Coast Guard, they didn't comment right away.
People noted that, likely because their first priority was the emergency response. The investigation phase was just starting.
Makes sense. We did hear from Mark Levine again via People that the Department of Transportation was checking the bridge structure.
Yes, and the initial word was that it seemed okay, wouldn't need to close long term. That's definitely good news.
Definitely reassuring for the city.
But still, a full assessment takes time. You can't rush checking the integrity of the Brooklyn Bridge.
No kidding. And the mayor, Eric Adams, he was briefed, went to the scene.
Yes, both CNN and People reported that. Shows how seriously the city took it right from the start.
So the bottom line for now is the investigation is very much ongoing.
Very much so. We're still in the early stages of understanding what happened.
And the Mexican Navy put out a statement, didn't they? Reaffirming commitments.
Yes, People reported that. Commitment to personnel safety, transparency in the investigation, and the quality of their training. Taking it very seriously, as you'd expect.
Okay, so let's try and summarize where we are. The Cuauhtémoc, Mexican Navy training ship, hit the Brooklyn Bridge last night.
Correct. Resulting in, unfortunately, multiple injuries, some reported as serious or critical.
And now there's a major investigation underway, involving Mexican authorities, local New York authorities, trying to figure out the cause.
It's just a very, very unusual event, and the information we have so far leaves a lot of questions unanswered.
Like, what exactly went wrong during that departure maneuver? What specific factors led to the collision?
Precisely.
Yeah.
Those are the key things the investigation needs to figure out. The official findings will be crucial here.
Absolutely. We'll need to wait for those for the full picture.
And, this whole thing makes you think, doesn't it, for you listening? Think about the Brooklyn Bridge. Iconic, vital. What kind of rules are usually in place for big ships navigating right there in that busy waterway?
Yeah. What are the standard protocols?
Right, and what could possibly go wrong? What factors could align, even with experienced crews, to cause something like this? It just really underscores how complex it is navigating these massive vessels safely right through the heart of a city.